going to learn, here they are. Today we're going to learn about the 7 mitzvot b'nei Noach. Okay, because that's something really important. Okay, so today we're going to learn about the 7 mitzvot b'nei Noach, which is what are the 7 mitzvot b'nei Noach? Those are the mitzvot that Hashem gave to the entire world. Every single person in the world has a blueprint for how to behave and what to believe in from Hashem and from the Torah. This is why we say Judaism don't proselytize, we don't missionary. Why? Because we don't believe that every non-Jew has to become Jewish. Because as opposed to the Christians, which they believe that if you don't believe in a certain person, then a certain bad thing is going to happen. Tell me, what is it? I don't want to say it, but that's what they believe, okay? And we don't believe that. We believe that tzadikei umot ha'olam, the righteous people of the world, they also have a place in the world to come. They don't go to the nether world like the Christians believe. If there's lots of very beautiful, righteous, non-Jewish souls that have a part in the world to come, so therefore we don't have to tell them you have to become Jewish in order to be saved, because you can be saved without being Jewish. You don't have to. Can you come closer? It's so nice to see you. So sit over there next to Malou.
Would you call that idolatry though, Christianity?
So Christianity is a little bit like idolatry. It's because they believe that a person is God. Those of them that believe that God is a person, that's idolatry. Maybe not everybody, but there's various different degrees of what they believe in. So I don't want to say like once and for all Christians do idolatry, but believing that a person is God is idolatry. Okay, so even though it says about Moshe, it calls him Ish HaElokim, a divine person, a man of God. He was still a human being. He had a physical mother and a physical father. It says it clearly in the Torah, and he also died and was buried. Okay, so but that specifically, nobody knows where he was buried. You know why? So people shouldn't come to worship him like the Christian worship there. So they shouldn't come to his grave and worship him and say that, because he was the closest we have to be a perfect human being, which is the closest to the divine, but not divine. It's a big difference. Physical human being, he had to also, he had a body, even though he was able to really go beyond his body and not eat and not drink for 40 days and 40 nights, which is, most regular people cannot do. So now we're going to learn about these mitzvot for the children of Noach, and also the source for them, how we see them in the Torah, how we see that they're not made up. Okay, so who knows some of them? And maybe Cici will write us on the blackboard thank you so much, such a big help. So who knows one? Let's see, anyone in this class know some of the 7 mitzvot? And be careful of all the different strings.
I'm okay, continue.
Okay, who knows one? Who knows one? Who knows one? Don't kill, very good. That is in Hebrew called shfichut damim, which means don't murder. Okay, there's a difference between kill and murder, but that's what you meant. It's allowed to kill in war it's allowed to kill for self-defense, but it's not allowed to murder. Okay, it's called shfichut damim, which literally means spilling of blood. What's the first one? The one that basically Gila touched upon. What's the first one? Avodah Zarah is the first one. Put that number 1, okay? There's an order here. Yeah, there's an order. Avodah Zarah is the first, and Shfichut Damim is the second. Avodah Zarah, idolatry. They're not allowed to believe in any gods, in any other gods. Number 2, they're not allowed to murder. Shfichut damim. Number 3, who knows? What else are they not allowed? Steal, very good. Gezel in Hebrew. Do not steal or kidnap. Don't steal a person either. Number 4. Something, I give you a hint, a very serious sin also to Jews. It's in the 10 Commandments. Number 4. Very good. Do not be sexually immoral. In Hebrew, gilui arayot, which means literally uncovering nakedness. But it refers to a lot of things. It refers to anything sexually immoral, like incest, bestiality, from the Torah, male homosexuality, homosexual acts, male, from the Torah. And obviously adultery, which means a married woman with another man. Okay? Now, then there are 3 other ones that are not in the 10 Commandments. And what are they? So number 5 is called Birkat Hashem, which means do not bless God. But it's written, how do you say this? Euphemistically. It's written not to be understood literally. It's written to be understood opposite. Basically, do not curse God. But it says we don't want to say that. So it's written, don't bless God. Birkat Hashem. And that means don't do blasphemy. And then there's another one that is also not allowed for Jews, but it's not in the 10 Commandments. It has to do with animals. Who know? Who loves animals here? Okay, so what is that one?
Bina.
What?
It's in part behind.
What is it, Bina? Don't
eat from an animal that's still alive.
Right, very good. Don't in Hebrew, ever with aleph, ever min hachai. Do not eat any flesh that was torn from a body of a living animal, even if it's no longer alive. But it was alive when you put it in a pot, or when you cut it into pieces, or somebody cut it, or somebody put it in a pot. Like, what do they use a lot in America? Lobster. Like, it's not alive when it's being served to you. It's not coming on your plate. Okay? It is, but when it was cooked, it was alive. You're not allowed to eat that. Also, Jews are not to eat that. But for them, it's one of the 7. For us, it's not one of the 10. Last one. What's the last one?
Set up a system of honest.
Very good. Set up a system of courts that will make sure that the people keep all these laws and all that derivatives. A lot of things are included in all of these laws, okay? And I'll ask you, what do you think is included in all these laws? Okay, so no side talk, please. So what is included, for example, in stealing?
Breaking and entering.
In like breaking into a house without permission, even if you didn't take anything. That could be very good. Making a phone call from your office that you work in, that is a long distance phone call that's expensive without permission. That's also called stealing, for example.
Taking a pencil is stealing. I mean, all kinds of stuff. I learned this years ago, that if you go, like if I walk off with this pencil, this isn't my pencil, I have to leave the pencil. And
Right.
all kinds of.
But there is a thing, this is for Jews, I don't know what it is for non-Jews, but for Jews, we're also not allowed to steal, obviously. But for Jews,
Better not be videoing here right now.
I want to just focus now. She has a work study, and part of that is to make reels for what's going on in the classes. Okay, now she's not targeting you. Okay, okay. Now I can't take interruptions because I have a lot. Okay, fine. Okay, so
Just so you know, I wasn't filming her. You can check my phone. She wasn't in it initially.
I know. I don't want to talk about it because I want to learn and teach. Okay, and for everybody else, it's not important now. Okay, so stealing for Jews, that I know. If it's something it's not called stealing if you use something that belonged to someone else that you know they wouldn't mind. Okay? Let's say I need to sign a paper and I don't find any pen in the office. That happened actually. And I see a pen on the table, and it's just to sign a paper. I know that people will not mind. Am I right? There are certain things like taking a paper clip. There's certain things that's considered. Everybody would agree this is like something that's so little value that it's accepted. I don't know what it is for non-Jews. Could be they're more strict about that. But I'm just giving you an example. Like some things it includes a lot of things, but there's also excludes a few things. You should know that. But it's always better to ask. Look, if Bina was sitting here and I said, oh, can I just use your pen for a second? I would say that. But let's say the room is empty, sadly, and that happens sometimes, and I need a pen and nobody's there, I'm allowed to use it, especially if it's for a mitzvah. And even it says that even it's possible that for a man it's allowed to use, I just learned it, tefillin and talit that belongs to someone else, if he knows unless he knows that the person would not agree to it. Because you can assume a person would want his things to do a mitzvah. Very interesting. Anyway, that's not our topic today, but Gilui Arayot for the non-Jews can also include, it's possible it includes all the mitzvot of tzniut as well, because it's everything that can lead to improper sexual relations, and it's a wide thing. And now there's a lot of people, B'nai Noach, they have a lot of movements, and they're asking questions, and there are rabbis who are dealing in this. Like, they're asking questions, what about Shoma Negia for a non-Jew? You know what Shoma Negia? Don't touch man and woman that are not intimate family, okay? Shoma Negia, that means literally watching touch. So they asked that, B'nai Noach, I've seen it in certain forums, and I'm not one of the people who would, that's not my specialty, I don't know. But like, it could, I'm just saying that it's very wide and can include a lot of things. Like Shoma Negia, Tzniut, all that in Gilui Arayot, just to let you know. A lot of different things. Animals, maybe it can include all different things of hurting animals. Which we are also, we're not allowed, mitzvah of tzar ba'alei chayim, we're not allowed to unnecessarily hurt any animal. Okay, you know that. It's very serious. And if you have an animal, you have to make sure they have good conditions, that otherwise you should not have an animal. Okay. What else does anyone know is included in these 7 mitzvot? Wow, that's so nice. Can someone take a picture and post it? It's so beautiful. Post it on the WhatsApp group. Thank you.
Always send me to the board. I like being.
Yeah, I know
to
that.
use my hands.
I
like to be.
Yeah, you're active.
Yeah.
And Hashem gave you a beautiful handwriting.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, just like you. Your handwriting reflects you.
Thank you, Rebbetzin.
But it's true. They usually all of my scribble.
Yeah.
No, anyway, so we go on.
Yeah.
So anyone else can think of something that you may think that would be included in any one of them before we go on?
Like that should be included or that is included?
Touch, not to touch. I want to say that it may be included. I'm not someone who did a serious study and decided these things are being decided at this moment. It's because these were something non-Jews never asked about before. It's something new. Now there are all these like movement of B'nai Noach, and they want to be righteous Gentiles, and they want to do things. They really want to like grow in the service of God, and they're asking all these questions. And I would say, if they ask, so the answer is yes. If they're in the place that they already will ask. If they don't ask, so maybe no, maybe they're not ready for that. And don't put on them a mitzvah that they cannot handle, because you don't want them to be sinners if you don't have to. But if those who ask, they should do it. Maybe it depends what level they're on. Mm-hmm. If they're asking, yes, tzniut, dress code, and all of that. Okay, Eva Menachai, take good care of animals. Stealing sleep could also be waking people up. It's also called stealing. It's very serious, not allowed to wake people up unless it's for, you know that they want to be making up. That's yeah, you know, like for example, this Shabbat,
Yes.
I went to what, yes?
We also have, no, I'm actually curious.
So I went to my Chavruta in the afternoon, but since they changed the class, at the time, not the class, they changed the time, which we're both so busy that we didn't discuss about what time the Chavruta was going to be, but it has to be finished before a third meal. So I have to be home to eat with my husband, so used to be at 4 and now it was at 3. So I knocked on the door at 3 and no answer. And I'm like, oh. So I went, my dear friend Rivka Horowitz, and let this be a refuah shlema for her. She's suffering from back pain right now. So this should be refuah shlema for Rivka bat Chaya Leah. And so, so I went, she lives very close to me, and on her land, she has 2 of her married children live there. So I went to knocked on the door on both. And so one said, yeah, she ate by us, but she went back home. Maybe she's resting. Do you want to send a grandchild to wake her up? And I wasn't sure if I wanted or not. So I didn't know, what would she prefer? Maybe she would really be upset. You should have knocked louder. Because don't want to miss the Chavruta.
Right.
So I went back, I knocked again. And then she came. And it was good because next week she won't be there. So it worked out good. But you have to think, what would the person want? Maybe they want, like I know my husband wants to get up for the minyan. And he gets up usually always by himself. He doesn't need my services. But just in case I saw him sleeping and it was after the time of getting up for the minyan, I would know that I have to wake him up. Yeah. So it depends. But okay, so now, the first 4 mitzvot, the last 4 mitzvot actually, they start with the letter of the Hebrew alphabet. Okay? Now, the last 4. Hey, wait, you didn't do it in order here.
I did it how you have it.
So maybe it's not in that order. You're right. So if you unscrabble them, okay, so that's okay. You get Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet. You see? So these 4 mitzvot, which is blaspheming, it's written in opposite expression. Don't bless God, which means don't curse God. That's blaspheming. Blaspheming, that's Birkat Hashem. Well, the first one, Eva min hachai, limb of a living animal. But Birkat Hashem, blaspheming. Gimel. No, it's not that one. Sorry, I made a mistake.
It's Gezel?
It's Gezel. I'll tell you why in a minute. Okay, Gezel. These are and then Dinim, which means make a system, a court system. So, if you have to have someone that can punish if people don't keep these other ones, there has to be a consequence. If there isn't a consequence, if there isn't a government that with honest, laws according to these laws, then people will just go crazy. They will not be afraid. And that you have to have that a system of courts also amongst the non-Jews and also in the Torah. You have to have a system of courts. You have to have that. So these are in the Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet. That's how you can remember them. And the 3 other ones are from the 10 Commandments. Now, about which the 3 other ones are Avodah Zarah, Shvichut Damim, Gilui Arayot. They're from the 10 Commandments. Which means, what do they mean? Avodah Zarah? Idolatry. Shvichut Damim? You know it? Murder. Gilui Arayot. What is that? I want you to learn it in Hebrew. Sexual immorality. Good job. Okay? And that one includes also a lot of things, even if it doesn't include Shom and Nagia, which depends, It includes a lot of things that people used to do. And for that, Hashem brought the flood. For these things that people would used to do, bestiality or homosexuality. And with homosexuality, it wasn't just that they did homosexuality, it was that the government that they had condoned it. And that's one of the reasons Hashem brought the flood, because that's much worse. One thing is, person can't help himself, it's hard for him. Another thing is, it's been like legalized. And this is what we're suffering from in our time as well. That's much worse than there are some people who can help themselves. That is hard for them. But it's a wicked government who legalize and emphasize these things. Anyway, so Gezel, and I'm really sorry, maybe you will Google it, keep you busy, because I meant to ask my husband and I forgot. Because Gezel, which is steal, is different. The laws of stealing that's for the Jewish people. Stealing stuff is not part of the 10 Commandments, as you think, even though it says that, don't steal.
No, but in your order, I think by mistake you made it. I think when you wrote Gezel first, you maybe meant to write Gila Rice first.
Yes, I think you're right.
So then it doesn't matter. Yeah, because.
You're right about that. You're right. I meant to my.
Gila Rice is.
You're right about that. Gila, it's the 3 from the 10 Commandments is Avodah Zarah, don't worship a false god. Shfichut damim, I'm saying it purposely so many times so that you learn it in Hebrew. Do not murder. And you're right, Gilui Arayot, do not be sexually immoral. These 3 are the same also in our 10 Commandments. But Gezel is different from for the Jews and from the non-Jews. In the 10 Commandments it says, not to steal. It says lo tignov, actually. Don't steal. A different word for stealing. Gezel means rob, actually, robbing. But in the 10 Commandments, lo tignov is not money or items, but kidnapping specifically, according to Rashi and according to the Talmud. But now, and stealing stuff for Jews is very different, because all of these are death penalty, and it comes right after. That's what Rashi says. The stealing comes right after. You have to believe in one God. You're not allowed to do idol worship. You're not allowed to murder. You're not allowed to steal.
So really crazy stuff online.
Okay, I'm gonna listen, but I didn't give you the question yet.
Oh.
But I want to hear.
It's crazy.
But 1 second, let me just say. So Rashi and the Gemara says that the punishment has to be the same. So it has to be not just stealing like 10 shekels. It's stealing, kidnapping, stealing a person. That's serious. That's death penalty for kidnapping. It's very serious. Okay, so what I didn't tell you what I want you to Google,
but the difference between Gezel for a Jew and for a non-Jew.
Yeah, that's what I want. Okay, you got it.
Rebbetzin,
Okay, good.
I don't know if this says that the Noahide prohibition of theft is a broad category encompassing numerous acts that are
Listen what she's reading. Hold on. No side talk. Again, one more time.
This is saying that the non-Jewish law of Gezel is in some aspects considered more stringent in its application,
Right.
more strict.
Yes.
So, for example, the single Noahide law against theft includes a wide array of illicit acquisition, such as general theft, which is like it includes Geneva, general theft, robbery by force, kidnapping, cheating in business, withholding an employee's wages, moving boundary markers, and even being jealous of another one's possessions. This is for the non-Jew, but this is what I think is crazy. A non-Jew is liable for stealing even an insignificant amount of money, less than a pruta, which is like the halacha.
So that's what I just said. I think it's different from the non-Jews. Like
Yeah.
if a Jew steals a paper clip, it's allowed. It's not called stealing.
Correct.
It's something nobody cares about. They don't,
Why
it's,
is this fair?
and like a rubber band, it's not called stealing. It's not stealing. If you take a paper clip or a rubber band that you don't know who it belongs to, you're not liable for stealing, a Jew.
And they say also with a non-Jew that if they steal something, even if they're not benefiting from it, just the act of stealing the property is already considered stealing. Where it might, for a Jew, that might only be the rabbinic prohibition. But like according to the Torah, it's not necessarily, if we're not benefiting from it. Or like one last thing, this I think is even crazier. Are you ready?
Yeah, and after you finish that, then Tina wants to say
so listen,
something.
a
But you can
non-Jew-
take your hand down.
A
I know
non-Jew
it.
studies Torah, A non-Jew who studies Torah beyond the 7 Noahide laws is considered by some interpretations to be guilty of theft of the Jewish nation's inheritance. Torah Tziva Lani Moshe Marasha Kilat
Okay, so
Yaakov.
I'll address that last point
Probably
after
not if
Dina.
you're becoming-
I'll address the last point after Dina has this.
Not if you're in the
Okay, Dina, what did you want to say?
My question is it more strict for the non-Jews?
Yes,
then? The
it's
7
more
Noahide
strict from the
strict-
non-Jews
That's what we're saying here.
theft than for the Jews. And the reason, can you think of the reason why that is? I remembered something like this, so this is what I was looking for. Thank you very much. But why is it more strict for the non-Jews? Because they're not expected to really understand the nuances of the difference. Okay? It's like you gotta make it black and white. When you have like someone younger, let's say you teaching a younger child, it's black and white. When you get older and you have a more sophisticated mind to understand more things, you can go into the little nuances and the differences, right? Is that right? So we don't expect from a non-Jew to understand like the difference between if you say paperclip is okay, but 10 shekels is not okay. Maybe it would be complicated for that person. Well, if I can still, they're not ready for that, for making the distinction. Now I want to address the thing about learning Torah for a non-Jew, which is not really part of what I plan to teach about, but this is a very big topic. First of all, it doesn't, like you said, apply to someone who's coming to become Jewish. They need to learn the laws so that they can keep them. But there is a big movement today also of Noachites who want to learn Torah. And, we have some people that used to be even on our online that they're not converting. Some people are very strict. They will not allow in a synagogue or in their classes any non-Jew that is not in a conversion program. One of the people online here even, she was not allowed, where was it? In Arizona, I forget what city in Arizona, maybe Phoenix.
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 Yeah.
You know about it. I had to talk with the rabbi of the synagogue that she wanted to go to and tell him that she is in a conversion program with me. She had to prove it. And now he allowed her to come to his synagogue that she walked 2 hours each way to go to. Because that's one of the closest synagogues, and that's Shelley Love. She's amazing. Okay, yes, Gila.
One of the
Oh,
things
thank you.
One of the things that I've kept in my Torah, when I read something, sometimes I'll write a little note. And one of them is it's Rambam or one of the sages, one of the teachers said that you're not allowed to teach a non-Jew Torah. It's
okay, so there is such a thing.
Oh, yeah.
But and it goes together with the category that you're not allowed to teach anyone Kabbalah until they're a man that's 40 years old and knows the whole other Torah. It's something similar to that. So today, from the time of the Baal Shem Tov, a lot of things changed in the world because we're coming closer to the Geula. Today, a lot of people learn Kabbalah, Jews and non-Jews. I'm not going to say if I condone non-Jews learning Kabbalah, and certainly not Madonna, but that's a side point. But there are a lot of, people that want to learn. The Torah is like, people are thirsty for it, and they won't just keep mitzvot unless they have a deeper, more abstract understanding of it. And so I know based on Rav Ginsburg, and you can ask Dvor Konikov, who is a very close Talmidah of Rav Ginsburg, and she follows everything he writes, and she speaks about this a lot. She has a WhatsApp group for Bnei Noach, and Rav Ginsburg is teaching. Rav Ginsburg is a Chabad with a kind of New Age twist. He was originally the Rav of Bat Ain, but not anymore exactly. He has a large following in Bat Ain still, and he's very Chabad. He lives with Kfar Chabad and everything, and he wears the Chabad garb and everything. But he has some very interesting, just a little bit off the beaten. He's original, okay. And so he holds that there are 4 revolutions. That's part of the redemption process. Now, I don't remember all of them, but one of them is the revolution that women are learning. It also says women are not allowed to learn Torah. It also says that. You're coming back, right?
Yeah, I'm just making more coffee.
Okay. So one of them is women. That's one revolution. Another one is the revolution of learning Kabbalah for everybody since the time of Baal Shem Tov. I think that's one of them. Another one is the revolution of spreading Torah to the non-Jews. That's the fourth revolution. That's the last revolution. And this is what is happening in the world. And there was one more that I forgot. I think that, I don't remember it, sorry. Okay, but you can ask the Volkanika if she knows them in and out. Okay, and so this is the answer to what you read from over here. There's a change, just like there's a change in women's Torah learning.
Yeah.
Women were not allowed to learn inside a Torah book. Only stories, Geschichte. This I know in Yiddish. Geschichte, that means story.
Oh.
There's a book, Sena Urena. There's a book that just told Bible stories, but not learning inside the Torah and not with commentaries, for sure not learning in Hebrew, learning in Yiddish. It's until 1800 and something like, until Sarah Schneer. When was that? You want to Google me that? 1860. 1820. Let's see. 200 years ago, about.
Rebbetzin.
1883, no.
Wait, I have
Maybe
some.
that's the year she was born.
Okay, go ahead.
I was just thinking of Rashi, how he was so unique because he was teaching his daughters.
Right.
But it was a really big
That was an exception.
thing at the time. Yeah.
That was a total
What
exception.
I don't get is, I know because of Rabbi, but it's so frustrating that certain things in Judaism Torah itself never changes. So certain things are able to evolve with the times, and certain things, it's so shocking, like the Aguna situation. Like, it's really shocking that in 2025, the rabbis couldn't have come up with a better solution for certain things, because either Torah really doesn't change, or Torah itself never changes, but we figure out ways to have it live with the times. But then so many things, how come with this we were able to figure out a way to make it change, but then with so many things, the answer is we can't change the Torah. So even if it doesn't seem to make sense, this is how it is.
Okay, that's a really, really deep, very beautiful question. Okay, so this is supposed to be, there are some things that they do, prenuptial and different things. You're right. This is, this particular thing about Aguna. Aguna is a woman that her husband either is lost, can't find him. It literally means she's tied, or a husband left her but does not want to give her a divorce. He can remarry according to the Torah, kind of, not really, but she can never remarry if she's married already. It would be adultery, even though he had left her, but he refused to give her a get. So there are a lot of ways to enforce that. I think that they have come. The rabbis really do care. And this is a very sad thing, but there's a lot. I do teach about it actually in another class in Women in Tanakh. Then it's
Even in general, even if it's not only about Aguna, but I am curious about that. But
in
who
general,
decides how?
in general, who decides? It's a really good question. How do we know this is not reform?
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
the thing. When reform
Yeah.
says they want Torah to live with the times, we say that's not okay. But when you know what I mean?
Right.
That's also their whole mentality.
Okay.
The Torah should
So there are basically three principles. It's who decides. Someone that you can really trust is someone that keeps the whole Torah. It's not someone that like drives to Shul on Shabbos that's going to decide, now we're going to change this. Everybody can drive to Shul on Shabbos because it's too inconvenient to walk. Most people can't walk so far.
Yeah.
So who decides? That's one. It depends who decides. There has to be someone that's a Torah authority, like the Baal Shem Tov became. He wasn't in the beginning. They looked at him like the reform. They ostracized him.
Also the Rambam.
Yeah, so it's not so simple who it is. But it has to be eventually someone that's authorized by other great rabbis, that are authorized by other great rabbis. And then you go all the way back to Moshe Messinai. Okay, so that's one, who is it? Two, what are the intentions behind changing something or adapting something? What's the intention? Why? Is it coming out of like an egocentric Well, I will also, like women should also have an aliyah to Torah. I don't want to be less than men, like my ego, I want to be important. Or is it coming out of genuine wanting to serve Hashem? Okay, that's very important. And the third one, I don't remember this moment. There is another one, but you can guess. What do you think should be the perimeter? You could maybe answer your own question. But there are things that became, not everybody also agrees with some of these things. Not everybody agrees with Rav Ginsburg about the fourth revolution. It's a big question, because my husband, because I have somebody that's a Bat Noach, and they donate to Beirut monthly, and she used to come to our classes, and now she got a job and can't. And I wanted to give them something more. And so my husband learns with our husband every week. And we discussed it, how can I teach him this and that? And he knows a lot. I mean,
They don't want to convert? No.
Not really. Maybe they want, but they meanwhile b'nei Noach. They're not in a conversion process. Maybe they would eventually. And there's every book that I would mention in class, Peggy would say, what book was it? And she got it, and she reads it. Wow. Everything is out there in the world. You can't really stop them.
Yeah.
It's not things, but maybe some people would be strict, just like the president. I wouldn't let someone in his shoe. Like, they're different people. But in my belief, I believe in Rav Ginsburg in those things. I agree with Rav Ginsburg. I think it's out there in the world. People have the capacity now. Things like the natures, maybe that's the third one. Natures have changed. Women's natures have changed. Women used to not be capable of learning. Now, if you take away the learning from a woman...
Or people just thought we weren't capable.
No, we really weren't. Because nature's changed. We really weren't, because of, if we were, we would have not, are you not, I'm not on the table, right?
Of course not. No,
Okay.
It's cool. I told you.
Okay. But if we were capable of learning the way we are today, we would have never been happy in the kind of role that women had 200 years ago. Like, put me 200 years ago to do the things any women were doing 200 years ago, like without a washing machine, without a, even forget it. I lived many years without a dryer, that I can handle. But without a washing machine, without running water, without all the things, and it would not be possible for someone who has the capacity to learn to live in that way.
Right, but I'm just saying,
They would just not manage it.
Right, so I'm just
Everybody would get divorced.
Right, so that's where I'm saying I'm not sure that it's that women had less capacity then, and now our brains are so much more evolved, or that it was easier for the world to correct. We were in a situation where if we learned, we wouldn't have been happy, and so they wanted us not to learn.
No, but if we didn't learn, we would be totally unhappy. But
I'm saying there's a million examples of that. Just because in those days we weren't giving we weren't giving the skills. Right now, it's like saying that right now in Africa, it's like I was traveling in Africa and I met a lot of different people. It would be foolish, I think, for me to say that the children in Africa are not able to learn like we can. Of course not. They're just not giving the skills. They're not giving the tools.
Okay.
Their teachers aren't teaching them. So yeah, you're right. Right now, if I picked up a child from some small village who's learning ABCs at 10 for the first time, of course he might not thrive in New York City. But if he was given all the skills and given all the tools and somebody was able to teach it to him, he has the capacity.
So I think it's a mixture and a balance between nature and nurture. There are some things, the nature's changed. It talks about in the Gemara, natures of people changed. It really did change.
Yeah.
And that's part of the revolution of women's Torah learning. Something changed. That Hashem, the moon was made smaller. And it's in the future to come, which is we're already going into that future to come. Yeah. The moon is growing bigger.
Right.
Okay, so now Dina wants to say something.
Okay, it's a little bit off topic, but I'd love to discuss nature versus nurture. It's
okay, but that you have to write me a question.
Fine.
And put it in a box, okay? Because I planned now today to teach, and already this is a tangent, and this is a tangent of a tangent. So I'm going to
Handing off my
Yeah, but write it now. Where's the box with the here? And put it in the box, okay? And next time I maybe don't have a specific thing to discuss, and I'll look at these. I love questions. So anyway, by the way, so I'm going back now to the 7 mitzvot b'nei Noach. We can continue all these discussions. It's all very interesting and good questions, and that's why I addressed it even though it's a tangent, but now I'm going back. Okay, and there's not like one answer to these questions. If you have any other questions, I love questions. So, I just see now in my note that going back to Shfichut Damim, what is Shfichut Damim, everybody? Murder. It includes, guess what? Think about something that today everybody does and think it's okay. Not everybody,
someone's
but
reputation.
what?
Murdering someone's reputation, like slander.
No, not that. That's
No?
something. That's something else. That's not murdering exactly. It's some physical killing.
Are you talking about abortion?
What? But you will not think of it as killing.
Wait, give us a hint.
Yes, she got it. Say it loud.
Abortion.
Abortion after 40 days of gestation. Before 40 days, the fetus is not considered like a what's called a bar kayama, someone that will like be really a person. But after 40 days, it's not allowed. It's called it's only allowed. Now I'm gonna go on my own little tangent. If it's only allowed if the fetus is threatening the mother's life. Okay, because sometimes, like for a certain mother, if she gets pregnant, a certain kind of pregnancy that really is life-threatening for her. So if you cannot save both, which you want to try to save both the mother and the fetus, but if it's not possible, then who comes first?
The mother.
The mother, and why?
She's already living.
Right, because the fetus, you don't know what's going to be in the future with that. Okay, that's
But
called
actually-
a rodev. That's called a rodev. It's the same thing. If someone comes to kill you, you're allowed to kill that person back. It says in the Torah, "Haba lehogecha, hashkem lehorgo." It's a pasuk in the Torah. Who comes to kill you? Get up early and kill him first. Even though he didn't kill you yet, because you can't kill him after he kills you, God forbid, right? So you get up and kill him first. So if that fetus is threatening the life of the mother, it's a rodev. It's someone that's coming to kill her. You have to kill it first. But that's very exceptional, and I think today, a lot of times they have ways that what they can do, that they don't have to do abortion to save the mother's life.
But still, there are sometimes, I know some people, very religious, very orthodox, who had certain situations, maybe the baby was very sick, whatever, and they spoke to a lot of rabbis, and at the end the rabbi actually gave them permission if he basically, it was very complex, but he said if it will help the mother's mental health, because then they could abort. But the mother, my friend, she chose not to, and her baby was alive for a few months until he passed away. But it was like a very, and they're very, very...
Okay, there's always exceptions for everything in the Torah. And always ask a Rav. Always ask a Rav. Because if you don't ask a Rav, then you have to be strict.
Right.
But you have to know a lot to be able to give a heter, to give a leniency.
But why does the mother, I know I answered it, but why does the mother's life come first? Because she's already alive. But with that answer, that's not such a good answer. No, I don't like that answer I gave, because the whole point is that the baby's also meant to be alive. That's the whole fight.
But the baby
is
still not out in the world.
But that's the whole thing. Is it a living thing or not?
It is a living thing, but there's different levels of living. And then the level of someone that's already born is a higher level of living than the level of someone not yet born.
Correct, but that exact phrase is exactly why people believe in abortion. Exactly.
Okay, but we don't believe in abortion.
No.
Except if
That's
it's
the point, but your
threatening.
exact sentence, what we just said.
Yeah,
exactly.
but it is still alive. Enough that it's not allowed to kill the baby. It's a nuance,
But
okay?
it's not as alive as the person who's already living, which is why so many people say, if it will, like nothing to do with Judaism, people in the world say, if the mother can't handle having this child, or they're going to bring a child into a...
Well, they can adopt it away.
Right, but many of the people who are very pro non-abortion are not the same people who are pro helping every child who's born get the welfare they need and the money they need.
Okay, well, there's lots and lots and lots of
Passionately
people
fight for children
that are
who are born
standing
without
in
passion, fighting for children
line.
who are born
They're
against
standing in line to adopt. There's so many people standing in line to adopt, especially like a white child. Sorry to say, because there's a lot of black. There are a lot of colored children that you could adopt, but some want someone that looks more than themselves, not because they're against blacks, you know, just because it's so obvious. If I would have a black daughter, which I love any color, you know, I don't have a problem, but like it would be obvious that it was not my biological child. And some people prefer to have a child that not everybody has to know that that child was adopted. And also it would be maybe harder for that child to stand out amongst everybody else in that environment. And therefore, it's a very big mitzvah to have the child and to adopt it away, because there's a very big need of it, okay? And I'm going on now from that topic. Is that okay, Zizi?
Yes, thank you.
But you don't have to raise the child if you're not able to.
But
Yeah, and it's not such a big deal to carry a child for 9 months, and then and you know it's going to be a good home, because the people who are approved for adoption have to go through a whole. I thought at one point about adopting, since I only had one child, but like for various reasons I didn't. But I just learned a little bit about it. You have to really qualify in so many ways. Yeah. You know, you have to have psychological tests. Like most likely the parents will adopt are much better parents than the parents that are biological, because there's no criteria to be, you know, nobody checks, are you allowed to be parents?
I think it's crazy that we don't check.
Right, but that's another sidetrack.
To be a pilot, to be a driver, to be even your Uber driver has to go through screening.
But to be
anyone could be a parent. It's nuts.
But if you there's so many different ways of adoption, open adoption and not, and you can choose. Okay, now I'm going on. So now it comes a little bit lamdish. Okay, now this is going to be a little bit difficult for some people that don't like to look inside of the Tanakh. But if you make the effort, maybe you'll really enjoy doing it and seeing it inside. This is a little bit challenging. So I want you to look up in chapter 2, verse 16 of Bereshit. And we're going to see that how many? All 7 mitzvot b'nei Noach are hinted at in this pasuk. Even though that should be called b'nei Adam, the mitzvot, because this was given to Adam. It's learned out. Okay, it's learned out. Maybe it's not all of them, we'll see. It's learned out from a midrash from the Gemara, Sanhedrin, okay? So it's not literally saying it, but there's a hint in the pasuk. Okay, who found the pasuk? Perek Bet, pasuk 16. Zizi, you have it? You need to read it in Hebrew. And maybe Dina will come up here and read it in Hebrew. You can, no?
Fine.
Okay, but you will look inside?
I'll read it.
Yeah, you want to come up? Yeah. Yeah, Dina, we love you, Dina. Yeah, we missed you, and we're so happy to see you. And you are so nice. Let's see, how do we get you? So you have to read this pasuk, but I want to just... But yeah, Amy is really a smart person here. Everybody is, but this is not I just want to see if you can see you. Can you see, Dina? And me? Okay, so now read.
Where from?
Yeah.
ויצב השם עליהם על האדם לאמור מכל עץ הגן אוכל תאכל.
Good English.
Hashem commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden you may freely eat.
From here we learn a whole lot of mitzvot, of the 7 mitzvot b'nei Noach. Toda Rabbah for the effort of coming all the way here up. What did we learn from it? Okay, the first word, right, tzav, commanded. We learn one of those 7. Which one is that? Guess. He commanded. We do learn a general thing that there is a commander and there is a God. But this is like, that's understood in don't worship, idol worship. It includes believe only in one God, right? So we have tzav, that God commanded, that teaches us that there is a God who makes decision. So that's included in the don't worship other gods. But there's something else, more exact. The source, so that refers to the judges. You have to have a government that commands. If somebody, God forbid, murders, what? They have to, I don't know, serve in a prison for life. I don't know what they have. But that's not the Torah law. What's the law of the Torah? For a Jew and for a non-Jew, if they murder,
They die.
they have to be killed. Okay? So that's why it's tzav, command. There has to be a court system. Now, the next one, we have the word Hashem. Okay, what would that be? Where do you see the word Hashem in here? The second word is Hashem. Where do we see that in the 7 mitzvot b'nei Noach? Birkat Hashem. Don't blaspheme. Okay? So that is from the second word of this pasuk. Now, Elokim. What does that teach us? Which command is that?
Idol worship.
Idol worship. Like it says, lo in the 10th commandment, in the second of the 10 commandments, lo yeh lecha Elohim acharim al panai. Okay, so far we had from 3 words of this pasuk, we already have 3 of the 7 commandments of Bnei Noach. Isn't that cool? Now let's see the next one. The next one is al ha'adam, on the man. What does that refer to?
Sexual immorality.
Murder. Because it says also, in each of these, I'm not giving you that, but for each of these it says, whoever spills the blood of ha'adam be'adam damo yishafech. This is in Bereshit. This was given before the Torah. It's given to all mankind. Whoever spills Adam spills the blood of another Adam, his blood shall be spilled, because Adam is created in the image of God. That's in chapter 9, verse 6. Okay. So now we have 4 of the 7 mitzvot already in here. Then we have the word le'emor. The next word is le'emor. What do you think that would be? That's hard. I'm going to give you that away.
Sexual immorality.
How did you know that?
Amor just made me think French.
Okay, it says on the sheet. Remember what I gave you on the sheet? Okay. But le'emor, did I give you the pasuk for each one?
Because you could talk.
No, because it says that in Yirmiyahu. And if le'emor, hen yishalach ish et ishto, v'halcha mito v'ayta li'ish acher. Like, and saying, if a man put away his wife and she goes from him, le'emor establishes a connection between this verse and Yirmiyahu, which starts with the word le'emor, which discusses sexual immoral acts. So this is the most far-fetched of all of them so far. But it's used because the word le'emor is in a Torah verse that talks about sexual immorality. And it's the first word of that. Okay, so let's go to, is there an extra one that I could just see what I gave you? No, I don't want to take from you. Is there an extra one on the table maybe? The next one. No, because I don't remember. So now we have, there is the next one. It is nobody's. Okay, because I worked very hard. I did it last night, but I was tired. Okay, so here, I see we're already on the murder. I didn't tell you, but the Cain rose up and killed him. And from here we know that even though it didn't say specifically you're not allowed to murder, but if you see where it says murder, and it says Cain rose up against his brother Hevel and killed him, and then he said, and then my punishment is greater than I can bear. It was obvious that it was not allowed to murder. He knew that he deserved the punishment, the greater punishment. Okay, so I don't see the things that you saw here. Where did you see that, Lemo?
We're number 5.
Ah, I see. Okay, so I'm going back on the first page. Okay, so now the next one is Mikol Etz Agan, from all the trees of the garden. And what does that correspond to? You have the paper, so you could tell me. What does that? Let's see. Now I lost the place. I lost the place here. Here we go. I found it. Right. Next thing is from all the trees of the garden. That corresponds to what?
Yeah.
Stealing, because it says you're allowed to eat from all of these trees of the garden, but not from that particular one that's going to come later. But not the stolen. Like if it says you're allowed, if you have to give permission to eat from something, that means there's something that's not permitted. If everything is permitted, you don't have to say you're allowed to eat from this. You could just say everything is permitted. I said you're allowed to eat from this, that means that there's something else you're not allowed to eat from, right? So that's number 6. And the last one, achol tochel. You may freely eat, but not, what may you not freely eat? What is it here that you're not allowed to eat?
Flesh from a living animal.
Flesh from a living animal. Okay, so we see, we went through all of the 7 just from that pasuk. Isn't that cool? Do you like it? I think it's cool. Okay, so now I go on a little bit about what you see in the bottom of page number 1. We see different scriptural allusions to the 7 mitzvot b'nei Noach in the stories in the book of Bereshit. Rachel, and today is Rachel's Yortzeit. It's a Yortzeit today, Yud Aleph, Cheshvan. It's very special. So Rachel stole something. What did Rachel steal, Dina? But she had a very good intention when she stole it. But never.
Idols.
Very good. Thank to Dina. Woohoo! She stole her father's idols because it was kind of a crystal ball idols. It was called trafim. That was just. And he could see, and he could follow them, and he could pursue them, and find them, and do something bad, because they were running away. Yaakov and all his wives, and all his children, and all his animals. So she stole that.
I think today Methuselah too is in Chabad.
The what?
Death of Methuselah, who was in last week in the Torah portion.
What's his name?
Bread and water. Melchizedek.
Melchizedek.
Yeah.
But he didn't steal. That's
No,
not.
I'm talking about. I said it's his yard site.
Ah.
But I have to
Okay.
check.
Anyway,
It's in Chabad.
so now, and we know that Yaakov said, he didn't know that Rachel took them. He said, anyone who stole your God should die, because like he knew that it was not allowed to steal, and because he said that, that's why today is Rachel's Yortzeit, and she only became how old? Anyone knows? 36. Really, really, really young.
36.
He died.
What? She died because of a lot of different reasons, but one of the reasons is that sadly, Yaakov put a curse not knowing that it was on her. He said anyone who took them will die. He didn't know it was Rachel. He felt so bad when he found out after. But when a tzaddik says something, it has an effect. It's a very, it says tzaddik gozer mikayem. A tzaddik's decrees and it comes to be. And now the next thing about blasphemy, that is hinted at with the serpent. The serpent actually lied. That I didn't remember. But if you see on the bottom of your sheet here, it says, didn't God say you shall not eat of any tree of the garden? And what did God actually say? That's the pasuk we just read. You may eat from every tree, you may freely eat, but the tree of knowledge of good and bad, you must not eat thereof. So he blasphemed. He made God seem like much worse than what he was. He made God said you can't eat anything, like God is bad. And then we talk about the murder is hinted. We already talked about it. Theft it also talks about, in addition to Rachel, it also talks about it right before Hashem decided to make the flood. And what does it say? Which is right where it says Seft 4, which is Shachet ha'aretz lifnei Elokim v'timaleh ha'aretz chamas. The earth was corrupt before God, and the whole earth was filled with violence, but it means stealing in force. It's someone that comes and is stronger than the person that owns something and takes it out of his hands, or takes it out, or makes him give it over because he's threatening with a weapon. So that's called Hamas. Someone who takes forcefully, violently something from someone else. Don't you think that's kind of interesting?
Yeah.
That's called Hamas in the Torah. Forbidden sexual relationship. And here we see the story. Who knows the story? Where do we see in the Torah about forbidden sexual relationship? Before the Torah was given, in the book of Bereshit.
Well, it was hinted.
You hinted, yes.
Chava. Well,
Kind of, but a little bit later.
King David and Bathsheba.
It's somebody that took a married woman and he didn't know was a married woman. And Hashem told him.
Bathsheba?
Now look inside 5. Look on your sheet
yeah,
here.
but Chava also maybe with the.
Yeah, okay, but that's not in the Torah. That's in the Zohar, in the Midrash. I'm talking from directly in the Torah. Okay, what does it say in the Torah?
Okay, I want to guess.
In 5. Well, we have to end it in 5 minutes. We have time. What?
They raped visitors.
It was Avimelech. Okay, it says that. Vayavo Elohim el Avimelech b'chalom halayla. God came to Avimelech in a dream in the middle of the night. Vayomer lo, and he said to him, Hincha met al ha'isha shelakachta v'hi peulat baal. You're going to die because you took this woman, and she is a married woman. So here we see that was already like a known thing amongst the non-Jews. If you take a married woman, there's a death penalty. It was, And then the same thing happened with Lot later. But that was something else. That was with, what was that about with Lot? The next thing before 6. What was the story about Lot that he said, I beg you, my brothers, do not act so wickedly. What was the thing they wanted to do in Sodom?
Let the men get the men.
They wanted to rape the angels that they thought were men. So here we see already in Bereshit, later it's going to say in Vayikra, that it's forbidden. But here, before it was officially forbidden, we see that it was already known that was really immoral. And Lot said, even Lot wasn't like the role model of the perfect tzaddik. Right, we discussed that. Even he said, don't act so wickedly, but he was bad enough. What did he offer instead? He was bad enough.
His wife?
His daughter.
His daughters. He said, take my daughters and rape them. As long as you don't do homosexuality. So that's bad enough, but it's not as bad as
Maybe in those days rape was different.
No, it was really bad.
That's disgusting.
Okay, but maybe they were willing to do it. Who knows? But the point is that it was clear to Lot and to that homosexuality was worse even than rape of the same sex. I'm on the opposite sex, and it is in the Torah. It's worse. It's forbidden 2 times. Okay. Now eating the limb of a living animal. Where do we learn that? This was told directly to Noah. This is when Noah came out of the ark, and Hashem says, now you're allowed to eat meat. Beforehand, what was Adam and Eve allowed to eat? Only vegetables and fruits. After the flood, humanity was allowed to eat meat. And there's different opinions. One opinion, this is a sidetrack, but one opinion is because Noah saved all these animals, they owe their life to him. So he can also take their life for his benefit. So, because they would have not been alive if it wasn't Noah. and the reason why they were saved was for Noah's sake. And so, but then when Hashem told him, yes, you can now eat meat, he also told him what? What does it say in this text right before 7? And you see I did it quickly because I didn't even give everyone a number, text number.
I will command of every beast whom I command it.
You see, right. Your blood, which belongs to your souls, of the you're not, but flesh with a soul, its blood you shall not eat. You're not allowed to eat. So there's two things we learned: live animals, that the blood is still like pulsating in it, or maybe you can also learn you're not allowed to eat blood, animal blood. But that I don't think they say that.
No,
Like non-Jews are allowed to eat blood.
Rebbetzin, I had a situation at South Africa where the cows, there were cattle,
The cows.
yeah, and one cattle got stuck in a trench, and then the black people came and cut off its things while it was still alive. So there was a whole article in the paper about it.
I'm trying not to listen whenever Bina mentions anything to do with animal. I've heard some traumatizing stories from you. Do you know that?
No.
It was so terrible.
So people do that.
Yeah, in South Africa they're terrible.
Yeah.
They just went and did that.
Oh. Anyway, so that's not allowed also to all humanity.
But
And we
not
see that and was told directly to Noah. So this is way before the Torah was given. So everybody that's alive today in the whole Australia, South Africa, any Brazil, wherever, the whole entire world, the North Pole, Greenland, everybody are descended from Noah. Okay?
they are allowed to have blood and eggs. Actually.
Yes. So they don't have, so here this means specifically you're not allowed to eat a limb of a living animal. They are allowed to eat blood also in animals. They don't have to salt the meat like we do. Okay? And the last one, and then I have only 1 minute and I want to tell you about the Sfirot. Okay. What is this about? This is about the gate of Sodom that Lot was sitting in, and he acted as a judge. And a judge used to sit in a gate and judge. So here we see there was such a thing as judges. It's a hint. Now, the last, I have no more minutes, but I'm just going to, it's written, each of these 7 mitzvot correspond to one of the 7 lower sfirot, which is very, very cool. Avodah Zarah okay, I can't do it now because I have to end. So maybe next time I will just do it briefly and then we'll do other things and we'll also do your questions that you have. And we'll be a less organized class and more spontaneous without a handout. Okay? All the best. I give you a break now. Bye-bye.
Thank you. See you soon.
Thank you, Rebbetzin.
Oh, Shelley Love is there. I didn't know.